There's literally so much going on at the moment that I felt compelled to make this video. So, guys, the thing that's really about to happen, and I know it must be a terrifying thing for people who aren't in the know, but for those of us that know, it has to happen. So we've got to destroy the old. The old system is a system based on fraud. It's based on evil. It's based on slavery. It's based on coercing us and keeping us enslaved in debt for all time. That system has to be destroyed. And in order to do that, we have to destroy the stock market. We have to destroy the bond market. We have to destroy all of the petrodollar. Remember, the petrodollar is that reserve currency that everybody has to buy and sell assets, or had to, until the BRICS countries came in and are now creating an alternative reserve currency, which is gold-backed. That is forcing, guys, it's breaking the back of the deep state. So what we've done is countries are no longer selling their raw materials, their real tangible assets, to other countries that are paying them in air. All countries are now saying, if you want our oil, if you want our silver, our gold, our diamonds, whatever it is, you need to pay us in an equivalent tangible asset, be it gold, etc. So only real tangible value is going to be exchanged for real tangible value. So that's already started hamstringing them as far as being able to buy gold, buy silver, etc. But more importantly, guys, no one has bought any USA bonds for 5 days, even though the USA is offering a fixed return, in other words, a fixed interest rate. Nobody wants to touch US bonds. In other words, guys, nobody wants to allow the US to bring more fiat currency into circulation. Japan, I said to you in the previous video, one of the things that's going to start happening now, because there are alternatives, because all the countries around the world are asset backing or gold backing their currencies, countries are going to start dumping dollars, because previously countries had to have a trade surplus with the US. In other words, they had to hold dollars to buy oil, to buy silver, to buy tin, or whatever it is they wanted to do, they had to hold dollars. Japan has just announced that they are dumping, listen to how much this is, $100 billion. They're dumping 100 billion US dollars. They don't want it anymore, that useless fiat currency. Japan, like I said, Japan has just dropped that $100 billion, and Russia and China are dumping every single dollar they have. Remember, because they put sanctions, because of the Ukraine, so-called Ukraine liberation. Remember, Russia is liberating Ukraine. The US, obviously, because they're deep state, the European Union, all very deep state, put sanctions against Russia. So Russia said, hey, no problem. We're going to gold back our ruble. And when we sell our gas to Europe, don't think you're going to pay us in the euro, or that would be the petrodollar. Don't think you're going to pay us in the petrodollar. You're going to pay us in a ruble or a yuan or a gold-backed currency. That is fantastic news. So Russia and China are dumping their dollars. Japan is dumping their dollars, and bonds. Then the USA cannot sell bonds. Nobody will buy them, even though they're offering a fixed return. This is the most magnificent news. It basically means that this is the beginning of the collapse of the entire world economy. But like I said, guys, no need to panic, because the good guys, the white hats, the white dragons, the Q group, etc., all the guys working for the betterment of humanity have put a safety net in place. That safety net I've described to you previously is called GSARA. That's the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. So that's already in place. When I say it's in place, all the bits and pieces of the puzzle are already put in place. Yes, it hasn't been announced publicly yet, but all the pieces are gradually, slowly but surely being put into place, so that when the world economy collapses, because it's not a if anymore, it's a when the world economy does indeed collapse, what it's going to mean is this safety net of GSARA, the safety net of asset-backed currencies, the safety net of the quantum financial system, because banks are going to collapse. Remember, all banks are bankrupt. Why? Because of fractional reserve banking. Let me explain that to you. So when a bank takes in, let's say, for example, somebody deposits $1 million in a bank. The bank doesn't have to keep all $1 million. The bank only has to keep $100,000. In other words, 10%. So they keep 10%. Remember, that money is now given to a second party. That second party then deposits that $810,000, or sorry, it would be $900,000, deposits that $900,000 in the next bank. The next bank only has to keep $90,000. They then loan out $810,000, and they keep rolling this over until that $1 million, which was deposited, they've now loaned out $10 million. So imagine now when you've got people are out there and they're going, okay, so I want my $10 million. Remember, that money's been deposited in the banks. So if everybody goes and withdraws, if all the people who deposited money with the bank go and say, I want my money, the banks only have enough currency to pay out 10%. 90% of the people won't receive their money. So as you can see, all banks are bankrupt. So what does that mean? Guys, that means that banks are going to go bottom up. But like I said, the white hats have been working on this for years. They've put JASARA in place. They've got the quantum financial system. Guys, it's been running in parallel with the SWIFT system for approximately 4 years. And since very recently, certainly the BRICS countries and a number of other countries, slowly but surely, are all being absorbed into having the quantum financial system replace the SWIFT system, replace those criminal banks that have been stealing our money for years. So everything, guys, is fantastic. The collapse of the world economy is critical, but like I said, there's a safety net in place. There is maybe going to be a short period, like I said, maybe 10 days, where we're going to go into some sort of a remain at home protection phase, where all of the mass arrests are going to go on. So for your own protection, guys, a very good idea to remain indoors. Once this is all over, there's certainly going to be amazing things that are going to start happening. That's where the Jubilee, or should we rather say, all of that illegal fiat currency that's illegally been loaned to people, either they're going to settle. So there's one of two options. I've found two options. The second one is the less likely one, but the first one, as I see it, is all the interest that you've paid, because interest is illegal, right? So all the interest that you've been asked to pay on your credit card, on your bond, or your mortgage, or whatever you call it in your country, all of that interest is illegal. So certainly the interest that you've ever paid will be refunded to you. The second option was that all fiat currency debt will be zeroed out. Now, the problem that I see with that is fairness, because if somebody let's say somebody like myself knows that this is, I've known about this for a number of years. So imagine if I went out and I financed myself to the hilt. I bought as many properties as I could get. I leveraged myself to the absolute hilt. And now I've got 20 houses. But somebody else who's very frugal and somebody else who's been credit shy, who's done the right thing, right? They would be discriminated against because they're going to get nothing. Whereas I'll have 20 houses paid up. So the more logical way, like I said, the fairest way, paying it off is, remember, all fiat currency is illegal. So it would be the right thing to settle all debt, but it will also be unfair to the people who've been credit shy. So I believe the way that it's going to be done in the most equitable fashion, and again, guys, I don't know this for sure. I'm speculating here. But use your own intuition and what feels right for you. What I believe is they are going to allow the interest. So let's say you've been paying off your house for 10 years and somebody else went out last year because he knew about this about to happen and got 20 bonds or 20 mortgages, and those all get settled and they're left with owning 20 houses, but you've paid your house off for 10 years. How much more fair would it be? The guy who bought his property last year, he'd get back all the interest he's paid. The person who bought their property 10 years ago will get all the interest paid. So for me, that might be the most equitable way. But again, guys, use your own intuition. And the quantum financial system, or I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's a new financial system that's based on utilizing quantum computers, whatever that system is going to be called. That system, guys, it is set up to support the distribution of money. So it's not only going to be a quantum financial system, but it's going to be a quantum prosperity system. So there are a massive amount of equity funds, of monies that have been set aside for the upliftment of humanity. So there's going to be a massive redistribution of wealth. In other words, taking the wealth that has been stolen from us, that's sitting in the hands of the 1%, that wealth is going to be distributed amongst humanity. But remember, guys, we can't do it too quickly. We've got to do things at a pace that humanity can manage. So imagine, obviously, people that have been living in squalor and people who've been living in slums, etc., to all of a sudden overwhelm them with unbelievable wealth wouldn't be fair on them. It would be too much. So there are systems, there are processes. These guys are a whole lot cleverer than all of us, and they've worked out an incredible system. I mean, every time I look back and I think about, wow, this is taking so long, but I look at how things have gone. I mean, in 2020, had they arrested Biden, there would have been a civil war. 8 months later, everybody hated Biden. So, like I say, the good guys have really, that they have been doing the most incredible job of ensuring that collateral damage is minimized, that everything happens at the right pace so we don't traumatize people too much. So, a lot of the reasons for delays, guys, has been to support people. There's a lot of sleepers out there. There's a lot of people under massive MK mind control. Those are the people that we need to basically turn the volume button up very slowly. We can't overwhelm them with too much at once. And that's why things have been taking kind of as long as they have. So the other thing that's incredible, guys, I've mentioned to you many times that if you have got some spare cash available, invest into silver. Silver is going to absolutely skyrocket. It's one of the most controlled, abused substances out there. It has been one of the most, the way that the bank gangsters have controlled this, the price of silver, is they issue something called silver certificates. It's not physical silver. It means that what they do is they pretend to be holding silver that they don't hold, and that artificially keeps the silver price down. What's been happening is, because people have started to realize, investors have started waking up and realizing that silver is a golden opportunity. Loads of people have been buying silver. COMEX, for example, I'm going to read this to you, right? Registered silver is down an incredible 60% in the last year. So in other words, the supply of silver is down by 60%. That's basically the backup of silver is down by 60%, and 72.8% over the last 3 years. In the last month, silver has gone down. In 1 month, it went down by 3.6% just in that 1 month. Registered silver is falling by about 8 million ounces a month. So at the current pace, the inventory will be wiped out in about 3 months. That is fantastic news for anybody who's invested in silver. Guys, I've created a video on silver where if you want to watch it, in fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll put the link in the comments, where I, based on everything that's been going on, fractional reserve banking storage, which is a criminal act that was committed by a number of banks, where people actually bought physical silver, and because the price of silver is pretty stable, these criminals went out and they speculated with that money on the stock exchange. But the worst part of all is they pretended to buy the silver and even charged customers a storage fee for storing silver that didn't exist. So when all of those people, that is a massive amount, when those people start saying, hey, where's our silver? Those organizations don't have silver. So when they now go out to the market to buy silver, remember the COMEX silver supply it's going to be done in 3 months. And when the demand goes up and the people who've got silver certificates say, hey, where's our physical silver? There is going to be a massive increase in the price of silver. So one of the greatest investments that you can do at the moment, guys, is buy silver. Gold backing currencies, guys, is going to literally destroy the central banks. Remember, the central banks, their whole reason to exist is to create this ridiculous, illegal, counterfeit fiat currency out of thin air and then charge the citizens of the country interest for manufacturing their own money. It's ludicrous. Now that all currencies are becoming asset-backed, gold, guys, is going to be the death. There's already around BRICS, there's Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Algeria, etc., as I said in my previous video, have already been accepted. And there's another 120 plus countries are now asking for membership. The US has passed their asset backing. In other words, it was called the Gold Standard Reformation Act, I think. Bill, I think the bill is 8110, but don't quote me. It may be that. So every country around the world is asset backing their currencies. No one wants those ridiculous air created out of nothing currency any longer. Another amazing thing, guys, is around the periphery. Elon Musk is now finally with Twitter. He's now looking at eliminating all of the censorship, etc. Truth Social, how incredible is this? Truth Social, which only started in February, I think, of this year. So it started in February of 2022, is now worth an astounding $44 billion. It's an unbelievable success story. So everything that I'm seeing out in the marketplace, in fact, guys, last time I said to you there was sirens going off. There is, at the moment, there is so much going on. It's just impossible to actually keep up with everything that's happening. But the most important things that are absolute indicators that the world economy is going to collapse is Japan dumping that $100 billion, China and Russia dumping their dollars, the Saudi Arabia joining the BRICS countries, BRICS building this reserve currency. All of these things are pointing to the end of the deep state. And then, of course, the last thing that needs to happen, as I said, is we're going to need to go into that remain at home protection phase. Reasons for that, again, let me remind you, was, first of all, it cuts off the deep state's cash, and also by replacing the internet, we move from Mockingbird to Odin, it removes their ability to get all of our information. Because remember, he who controls the flow of information controls which timeline we're on. So the internet is one of the most powerful places where people go to acquire information. And if you control that, in other words, if you control the entire internet called Mockingbird, you have unbelievable ability to control the flow of information. But of course, once Odin is introduced, the white hats now, remember, we've got CNN has been bought out by John Malone. We've got Truth Social. We've got Twitter. We've got Parler. And basically now we're going to be taking over the entire internet. So that means that the good guys are now controlling the flow of information, which means very quickly we're going to start moving from these very non-optimal timelines for humanity. In other words, timelines of war, famine, lack. We're going to be moving towards those optimal timelines for us. See, the least optimal timelines for us are the most optimal timelines for the Cabal or the Illuminati or the Khazarian Mafia. We are going to be moving away the least optimal timelines for them and the most optimal timelines for us. Our most optimal timelines are timelines of love and peace and abundance. And that, guys, is where we're headed. So, yes, there is going to be a short period where it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. But ultimately, guys, you know what they always say, it's risk and reward. The reward is certainly going to be worth the possible 10 days that we may be in remain at home protection phase. The future for humanity is astounding. Just hold the line, guys. We're very, very, very close. And please do yourself a favor. Go and get some groceries. Go and get some water, etc. Just be prepared. Like I said, it could be a misdirect, but wow, I have never been exposed to so much information from every single source that I have saying exactly the same thing. So it's either, guys, it's either go time or it's a massive misdirect. But my intuition, I mean, listen to your own intuition. I mean, what is your intuition telling you? Is it go time? And just to wrap up, guys, I want to wrap up and I want to thank all of you, because you guys that listen into these messages, you guys are the people that have been awake. You guys are the people that have raised the collective consciousness of humanity to a point where we could win this, we could win this war. You guys are the people that have been ostracized. You guys have been criticized and belittled and taken advantage of and called all sorts of names. You've lost friends, you've lost family. But let me just reassure you guys, we are so close to you being vindicated, to you being shown to have been told the truth. And I know every one of you have only had the best interests of humanity. And I know it's been hurtful. Guys, I've been hurt. I've been devastated by my very closest family have in fact ostracized me terribly. My own children. It's been a really, really tough 2 years, I would say, has been the toughest. But we're nearly there, guys. Hold the line. And here's the part that I really need to appeal to you. As we move into this phase, as we move into the phase of public announcements, where the mass arrests start happening and the mass, where we start to uncover and we get to see all of the evil that these horrible monsters have orchestrated on humanity, we're going to need to step up, guys. They may not even apologize to you. And guess what? That doesn't matter. You were chosen. The reason you guys are awake and they aren't is because you're the chosen people. Guys, our role, our job very soon is going to be one of information, going to be one of support, one of encouragement. We need to basically, guys, don't expect apologies. Don't expect people to be sorry for what they've did. I mean, look at this whole COVID nonsense story. Can you believe these... Sorry, I'm getting excited here. Let me slow down. These idiots are now saying we must have amnesty? Really? After locking us down, after taking away treatments like ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, hiding them from us? You're trying to tell me that there was no nefarious intent? Locking us down, closing our businesses, forcing us to put face diapers on so we rebreathe our own disgusting air that needed to go out. And now... guys, and that doesn't even mention all the damage that was orchestrated by these monsters via a bioweapon that they created. And now they're saying to us, we must give them amnesty. Nah, I think not. But guys, here's where I'm going with this. That's a different story. Those people need to face the consequences of their actions. Unfortunately, guys, the people that belittled us, criticized us, and basically ostracized us, they didn't know any better. They have been under massive mind control. So we really need to step up, and we really need to be there for those folks. That's why we're here, guys. Like I said, you are or have been selected. You've been selected to do this job. Let's get out there. Let's help, let's support, let's encourage, and let's embrace this amazing, incredible Great Awakening. Guys, we are so close to the end. Just hang in there now and be there for everybody when they call.